Hello everybody, welcome to the Python for Absolute Beginners series. For the first lesson in the series, we will cover topics such as getting text to display on the screen, learn about string variable types, and work through a series of projects to get familiar with the basics. With that being said, let's get started. So I hope that you already have something set up where you can type Python code and execute it to see the results. If you don't have Python installed on your computer, there are websites that allow you to code in Python for free, such as Trinket.io. So to get started, the first thing we're going to learn about is how to display something on a screen through the use of what is called a print statement. To use a print statement, you type the word print, and you do open parenthesis, which is shift number 9 on the keyboard, and open quotation marks, and close quotation marks, close parenthesis. Some editors may automatically close it for you, like you have seen above. So with this, we can now start displaying something on the screen. Inside the quotation marks, type hello world exclamation mark, and then press run. Every editor will have the run button somewhere different. I'm using PyCharm. If I right click, I can see run. And here you will see the output to the screen, hello world. So let's take a look at what just happened here. We gave the computer a command, which it then executed, and it displayed the results to the screen. Essentially, all a print statement does is take what is inside the quotation marks and make it appear on the screen. So let's go ahead and print out another line. Let's say the weather today is 70 degrees and sunny. Now if I were to run this, think about if whether or not this sentence will appear on the same line as the one above or on a new line. Let's take a look. We can see that the sentence about weather is on the line below the line that says hello world. This is because a computer executes commands sequentially from top to bottom. So first it is printing out hello world on its own line, and then on the next line it is saying the weather today is 70 degrees and sunny. For every print statement you give it, unless you specify otherwise, it will always take up the entire line before moving on to the next line. So let's go ahead and print out a couple more statements about your favorite color. My favorite color are green and blue. If I run this, same as before. Now if we do 2 plus 2, let's see what this would do. Will it print out 4 or will it print out something else? We can see that when we told the computer to print 2 plus 2, it printed out the text 2 plus 2 and not the number 4. This is because anything inside these quotation marks is just us telling the computer we want it to appear exactly as we type. We are not telling the computer to actually add the numbers together, but rather we are telling it to print that text onto the screen. So now I want you guys to practice by yourself, pause the video for a moment, and print out your favorite book, your favorite TV show, and your favorite song. Notice that when you do a print statement, there's 3 or 4 crucial components. 1, you have to type the word print, then you have to do open parenthesis, open quotation mark, close quotation mark, close parenthesis. That order is very important. And inside the quotation marks is where you type the sentence, such as, my favorite book is Harry Potter. And on the next line, you could do your favorite TV show and your favorite song. And when you hit run, if there's no errors, you should see the output that looks something like below. Very common mistakes are forgetting a quotation mark, forgetting a parenthesis, or some of the above. Don't worry, if you try to run it with that, you'll have some kind of error that could say end of line while scanning string literal, or you'll see some kind of red underline like I have above here, and that just means that you forgot something. So just take the time to look at your sentence and make sure you have all the things that we mentioned before. And when you guys are done with print statements, the next part is we're going to try something a little more challenging. We're going to print art onto the screen. So let's take a look over here. we have these ASCII art airplanes. And ASCII art is really just drawing things through text. You can see Mario over here on the right, but when we zoom in, you can see that it's all just capital letters and numbers with a mix of periods and spaces. ASCII art is a representation of text using ASCII characters, or otherwise just letters on your keyboard. So we're going to draw this airplane onto the screen. So let's see what we need to draw this airplane. We can tell that first of all, it's comprised of 3 lines. The top line with some underscores and exclamation marks, the middle lines with underscore and parentheses, and the bottom line with all exclamation marks. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. So the top line, let's put 2 underscores, exclamation mark, underscore. And when I hit run, alright, looking good. Now for the next line, it has underscores, parentheses, underscores. When we run this, we'll notice that there's a problem. These lines don't match up. How can we get it to look like this airplane right here? We need the top line to be centered on the middle line. So to center it, we need to add spacing. By pressing the space bar, it allows us to shift this string or this text a little to the right and make it centered, so when we press run, the airplane is now displayed at a proper manner. And finally, for the last line, we print that and we have our airplane. See, it was pretty simple. So now that we've learned how to do the airplane and we understand how spacing can allow you to position elements, we're going to do something slightly more challenging and move on to the dog. So when we look at this dog over here, we can see that it has multiple more lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the lines are comprised of the caret symbol, which is shift number 6, a period, the backslash, or the forward slash, underscore, backslash, and that's it to make up this stick figure looking dog. So to go ahead and do that, I've been deleting the code every time just to keep my screen a little clear, but you guys don't need to do that. Feel free to leave the code that you've typed already. So now for the dog, the first line is going to have shift number 6, period, period, shift number 6, and with a couple of spaces, we're going to have a forward slash. So this will draw that first part of the dog right there with the ears and the eyes and the tail. Next, we need to create the mouth of the dog. So that's going to be 1 forward slash underscore forward slash. We have the dog mouth. And now what's really interesting is going to be this backslash. In Python, there are some characters that need to be escaped for it to work properly. So you can see if you just put 1 backslash and you run, you'll get an error, end of line while scanning string literal. And even here, there's this underline. That is because a backslash has to be escaped with another backslash. It's just one of those caveats you have to remember in code. Whenever you use a backslash in a print statement, you have to put 2 backslashes for it to appear properly. And now you can see, even though we type 2 backslashes above, only 1 backslash is printed out onto the screen. That's very important to remember, and this can trip you up. So every time you use a backslash, remember to add an extra backslash. And now we're going to put a couple underscores and a forward slash to connect to our tail. And our dog is really coming along over here. And finally, we're going to add some legs to this dog. And with the legs, it's all about the spacing to position them properly. We have our forward slash, and once again, we have a backslash, so we have to put 2 backslashes to escape it. And when we print this, it's looking good. 1 more pair of legs, and it's done. So we're just going to extend that out a bit. And voila, our dog is done. Oh, my bad. Spacing is off just by 1. Or was it? No, we need to make an extra space on the inside of this dog. 1 more there. And I made the body just 1 too short. So let's add a little bit there. Perfect. Now we have our tall walking dog, which is the same as this dog over here. So I want you guys to go ahead and pause the video again, and for practice, try drawing this leaf over here. This will be a couple more lines than what the dog and the plane was, and a couple different characters, but this last one right here, just know that this is the tilde character at the top left of the keyboard underneath the escape sign. Now, I want you guys to go ahead and give this a try, and when you come back, let's see how it goes. So I've already have this prepared for us. Your leaf should look something like this. And when we go ahead and hit run, it'll appear on the screen like that. So those are the basics of print statements. We know that when to print something, you need the word print, open parenthesis, quotation marks. You can print, every sentence you print will be followed line by line. And whenever you use a backspace, you need a second backspace to escape it. So that's all for this lesson. And next we'll be moving on into how to create strings with Python.